Happy Crafternoon, everyone. I'm Gina from Gina K Designs, and welcome to today's Stampin' Chat premiere. Today, Tom and I can't be in the studio, but we are in the chat with you, and we are so glad that you've joined us today for this video. So today, I'm going to show you two different cards that I'm going to make with the Love and Light stamp set. I love this stamp and die set because it makes beautiful Hanukkah cards, but I'm going to also show you how you can turn these types of cards into Christmas cards too. So we're going to make one of each today, and I'm going to show you a fun layout that I think you're going to love. But before we get started, let's say hello to Tom. Hey, Tom.
Happy Crafternoon, everybody.
How are you today?
I am much better than horrible. You know that.
Well, I'm really glad that we could do this today and we could still be in the chat. So if you're in the chat, look for our chat comments. I'm sure Tom is chatting too, right?
I love this double personality kind of thing. You can
I know.
self-critique and have fun. It's such a great place to be. We're in the studio, but we're not in the studio. So it's like...
Right, because we're here, but we're also there.
It's just fun, yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, I have a lot to show everybody today, so let's get started.
All right.
Okay, so the stamp set that I'm going to use, I'm actually going to use a couple of them. I'm going to use the Love and Light stamp set, and this is our new Hanukkah set. It's got some traditional and also more modern ways to say Happy Hanukkah. And it's got this beautiful string of beads, and I just love these. I think these are great for so many different kinds of cards, including birthday cards and celebrations. And today I'm going to use them for both a Hanukkah card and a Christmas card. Then I have to use this image here. I'm pretty sure I'm going to use this one from the Christmas Begins with Christ stamp set. And then I thought that instead of doing the Star of David for my Christmas card, that I would swap in some of these cute little snowflakes for the Christmas version of this card. Now, I thought I'd go with two color palettes, and the color palettes that I'm going to use are the blues. So I've got some powder blue, and then I'm going to mix that with blue denim. And then I have some red velvet, and I am going to mix that with the red velvet ink. I'm also going to use embossing powder for this. And for the blue card, I'm going to use our fine detail silver powder. And for the red card, I'm going to use our fine detail gold powder. All right, so I started off and did a little bit of prep work here, and I actually die cut two white panels from our Master Layouts 2 die set. And then I also cut two black panels that will layer behind these. So we're going to have a nice little shadow layer behind these, and then these are going to be popped onto our red or our blue card base. So I'm going to put these aside. Now for the greetings, I'm going to kind of go off, not like I'm going to go away from the stamp sets, and I'm going to use the Poly-Glaze sheets, the ones that are the Holiday Floral Greetings set, because that will coordinate with the Holiday Floral Greetings die set. And let me grab that. That is way over here. Okay, I want to make sure that I have that. That coordinates with this stamp and die bundle. So I'm going to be cutting that out with these. And then for the Hanukkah card, I'm going to be using the Love and Light Greetings, and that coordinates with the die set that comes with the Love and Light bundle. So we're going to do a little bit of embossing, we're going to do a little bit of foiling, and we're going to do a little bit of traditional stamping. So this card has it all. All right, I'm going to start with my Misty, and I'm going to get one of these white panels, and I am going to tape it down because I really don't want it to move out of the Misty in case I need to stamp it more than once. Now I'm going to begin with the this image right here. So these are all the Star of David hanging from these beaded chains. So I'm going to get that stamp out. And I'm going to do two of these. I'm going to do one for my Christmas card and one for my Hanukkah card. So I think I'm going to start with the Christmas card just so that I don't stain, well, that I don't get any ink. Well, I don't get any ink on the stars because I don't have a sink close by, and I want to make sure that I don't have any ink here on the stars. So I'm going to position that where I want it here, and I'm going to use it in the same spot for both cards. And this is kind of a fun way to mass produce cards too. But what I'm going to do here is I am going to get some Masking Magic strips. So I have my 1/2 inch Masking Magic strips. These come in a pack with all 3 different sizes, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, and 1/8 of an inch. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to cover up the star for my Christmas card. So I'm going to cover the stars here. I'm going to get some scissors so I get nice straight edges. So I need to cover each of these stars up. And this is an easy way to add different images on here. So let's say you wanted to do a birthday type of card and you didn't want stars or you didn't want snowflakes. You wanted something else for a birthday design. Maybe you wanted a balloon hanging from each one, or maybe, you know, somebody has something special that they like and you want to hang other stamped images from here. You can easily cover up the Star of David just by, you know, putting a little piece of Masking Magic over it. And then you can go back and stamp with a block or with the Misty anything that you want inside instead. So we have all kinds of images in our collection, and you might find, you know, maybe you have a stamp set that has cute little like little baubles and stuff for a little girl. You might want to, you know, put that on there. You might want to put pumpkins. You might want to put flowers. You might want to put any kind of little images, just regular stars that are just a 5-point star. You could do that instead. So there are so many different ways that you can do this. All right, so we've got those in place, and we want to make sure that they're stuck down fairly well. And now we're going to create the chains for this card. So I'm going to use the red velvet ink pad, and I'm going to ink up all the chains. I want to make sure I get them all inked up really well. That looks pretty good. Let me get my tweezers here too. I want to find them. I know they're around here somewhere. Here they are. It's going to make it easier and cleaner for me to use the tweezers for this. Okay. And then I'm just going to peel these off.
I would forget to pull the paper off.
I've done that. That happens sometimes. Mark my words, that happens. I'm just pulling all these off here. It would have been nicer if I had a paper towel in my hand to just grab them off of here. I want to kind of do it pretty quickly so that that ink doesn't dry. And now I'm going to stamp that onto my card. Okay, so now I've got all those delicate chains just hanging there, waiting for an image to be attached to each of them. And I'm going to clean this stamp real well because we're going to use that again, right? We're going to use it for our Star of David one when we make our Hanukkah card. So that's just a way to mask off using some of those little Masking Magic strips. And if you want to stamp it again, you could go back and place those on there again, but I think that I got a nice impression there. Okay, so now I'm going to leave that on my Misty, but I'm going to find the Christmas Begins with Christ, and I'm going to get this big star, because I think I want to stamp the big star here, like right there. Although it will get covered a little bit. I could stamp it here. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll stamp it in a couple different places. Let's see. So I'm going to get an acrylic block for this. Now, if you don't feel comfortable with an acrylic block, you could move this stamp and just reposition it for your next card. That's not a problem. But I'm going to place this stamp right onto my Misty grid so it looks fairly straight. And then I'm going to place it onto my block so it looks fairly straight. There we go. So now I know that that's straight. And I am going to stamp that. I think I'll stamp one there and maybe one here.
So with this, you have to be mindful of what's going to end up in front of what?
Well, the reason why I'm doing the ornaments first and then the beads is because I don't want to stamp over embossing powder because it's bulky and I want to get that clean stamping. But it's okay if ornaments and snowflakes and things overlap in here. I'm not worried about them overlapping.
I know, but they have to overlap in the right way. You have to have the right things in front.
I don't think it's going to matter all that much, to be honest with you. I think it's going to look pretty good no matter what. Okay, so I've got one there. And maybe I'll do one down here. There we go. And one down there. Okay. So now I've got kind of those big star images there. And now I'm going to add some of the different snowflakes from that tiny set. So let me find that. Let's put this back so we don't lose it. Okay, so this set has lots of cute little images here, but I think these snowflakes are going to be really cute just hanging in around there. So there's 3 different sizes. I'm going to start with the biggest one. And because this is a brand new stamp, I'm going to work it a little bit with my finger just to get off any manufacturing residue. And then when it is a brand new stamp, can you see how I'm lining that up onto my Misty? Let's see if I can zoom in just a little bit on that for you. Let me turn my zoom on. Can you see how I lined the little snowflake legs onto one of the grid lines? Then I'm going to kind of follow that with my acrylic block. And this way I know my snowflake is straight on the block. And that helps a little bit when it comes to lining it up. These, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's not perfect because once you get everything else on here, it's going to be a pretty busy design. Now I am going to take a little piece of scrap paper here and just stamp this snowflake to make sure I'm getting a good impression because it is the first time that I'm stamping it. And that looks pretty good to me. So I think I'll stamp one of the big ones here. Like that. Then I'll stamp one here. Like that. So they look pretty good. And then I think I'll stamp one of the little ones on those other spots. I'll leave the medium one out so that you really, you really be able to see the difference in those, in the sizes of those. And this, let's see if I can line that up. That looks pretty good. And then I'll line my block up on there. It's nice to have the grid lines on the block. Okay, looks pretty good. And again, I'm going to test it just to make sure I get a good impression. Looks good to me. And then I will stamp that right here. Stamp another little one there. And I'll stamp another little one up here. So that just shows you how you can take that same image and you can change it up to create a Christmas card. And like I said, anything else, if you wanted to make a fall card and you have little leaf images, you could hang falling leaves from them. So many fun ways to use it. You can look to your Wreath Builder stamp sets for other little images that will work really well. All right, now I'm going to take this off. I'm just going to wiggle it a little bit. I really put a lot of tape down there because I didn't want it to come apart. So let me wiggle that off. Okay. And that's going to be ready for our beads. Now I'm going to do the second card. Again, taping that down so it doesn't move. And now I'm going to use blue denim for the actual image, the way it was designed with the Star of David in there. And what's nice about this is if you have to stamp it a second time, and you can very easily because we're not masking anything off. But I think this is going to look good. Okay. There we go. Easy peasy. That looks so good. All right, and again, I'm going to wiggle this off. And then I'm going to clean this stamp. And now we're going to do our beads. Now the reason why I didn't leave that piece of cardstock up there is because the beads are going to extend outside of this image. They are bigger. And we want them to go all the way to the edge. So I'm going to have to secure this piece of cardstock more in the middle. So I'm going to put another little bit of tape here. And I'm probably going to put it right here, like that. This way, you could see what I mean. This image is going to go outside. And if I had had the cardstock up here, this image would be up on the edge of the Misty and you wouldn't get a good impression. So we're going to lay this so that it goes up to the top. So it's going over the edge on all sides, at the top and over here as well. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. But I don't want to bring it down past where that one goes to the top. I mean, I guess you could if you really wanted to. It's not going to look bad, but it's hard to make this design look bad. Okay. So now we've got this in place. Now I'm going to use my embossing magic pad because I want to make sure that everything is dry on here, that I don't have any lotion from my hands, because I don't want this embossing powder to stick anywhere except to the cardstock, to the embossing ink. So let me find that, my Embossing and Watermark ink. Here it is. Okay, this is the Gina K Designs Embossing and Watermark ink, but if you don't have this and you have Versamark, that works too. All right, so I'm inking this all up really well. This is such a fine, delicate design, and you really want to get the ink on there. You don't want to miss any of it. And it is nice to only have to stamp it once because it's just the detail. You don't want to take any chance of it shifting because the detail is so beautiful on this. So we'll make sure that we gently get pressure on the whole thing. Okay. And now I'm going to pull this up. And I'm going to use the silver for the Hanukkah card.
The embossing powder seems to come out a lot more in holiday
I know, right?
cards.
We always want to have sparkle and shine on our cards. And what's fun is we're going to do both foil and embossing on this card, which gives you two different textures of sparkle. And I love that, how, you know, to add those extra little details. So I do have a little paintbrush here, and if I see anything anywhere where I don't want it, it's easy to get it off now because it's harder to get it off once you've heated the powder. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to go ahead and heat up my heat tool for a second, just so that it's getting nice and hot. And then I'm going to go ahead and heat up this silver powder. Oh, and it looks so pretty when you heat it. That's just such a pretty shine. Can you guys see that? See that shine in there? It's so delicate, but it's so gorgeous. Okay, so we've got the silver done there. Now it's time to do the gold. So we're going to do the same thing. We want to make sure that we have this stuck down pretty well because we don't want it to move. I'm trying to remember where I put it. Let me see if I can tell by here. I'm going to just see if that's the spot. I'm not going to put it down. Nope, it's one lower than that. I should have made a marking or at least, you know, a mental note of where I put it. But that's where it was. So we're going to put this one in the same spot right here so we don't have to line it up again. It would have been smart of me to make a little mental note of that. But that's okay. Now we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to use the embossing magic pad, and we're going to use the embossing and watermark ink. And for this one, we're going to do gold. I think the gold and the red are so pretty together, and the silver and the blues are so pretty together. However, you could do silver and red, and it would be gorgeous, and you could also do gold and blue. And you may have your own color combinations. You may have some metallic colors in your collection, like a metallic blue or a metallic red that would work really nicely as well. So see what you have in your collection and, you know, give it a try. And the other thing that you could do is if you just wanted a shiny color is you could stamp it first in color and then go over it with clear embossing powder. So you would double stamp it, and I think I've showed that technique a bunch of times. And then you could have like the red being all shiny. So now we're going to do this with the fine detail gold powder. See how this looks. It's such a delicate design. I was so pleased with how they were able to produce this. Okay, now, I don't see anything anywhere that I don't want it. So let's go ahead right away and we will just get right into, I do see a little bit right here. Not that that's the end of the world, but, you know, if you could catch it beforehand. That is beautiful. So you can see that, all that pretty gold in there. It just makes it look so festive. So imagine doing that in silver and just doing beads, chains of beads going down your card as a background for a wedding card or a 50th anniversary in gold, 25th in silver. Just any kind of beautiful, simple background that would be so pretty. And you just kind of go down your whole card, like do a row and then do another row and just have them all interlocking with each other. And then where they're kind of hanging loose in space, you can always put little metallic gems to make them look like they're kind of nailed into the wall. All right, so we've got those. Now, let's put the powder back here. I know I made a mess all over my Misty, but you know, sometimes when I have that Swiffer duster close by, I'll just cut a little piece of it off and I'll use the Swiffer duster to collect all of that embossing powder, and then I don't have to worry about it. So if you don't have a Swiffer duster, any kind of dust cloth, electromagnetic, I think that's what they're called. Electromagnetic, no, maybe, well, they're kind of like a microfiber, but they definitely have like electrostatic or something cloth. So you might be able to find generic ones where you live. I found mine on Amazon. I also was able to pick some up at my local Home Depot. They had them in the cleaning section. So you could try that and see if that works for you.
Does that mean you're using a mesty?
A what?
A mesty?
A mesty. That's not the word of the day, is it? Could be, right?
Just a little sneak from the dead space.
Okay, so I'm going to put this aside and get rid of my mesty. My messy misty. And then I do want to get rid of all this excess powder because we're going to do a little bit of foiling now. And so I'm going to bring my fuse in. So here's the fuse, and I'm going to turn this on and turn it up to 3. You always want to use 3 when you're using Poly-Glaze. 3 is the right number to use. It's not too hot so you don't get over foiling, but it's not too cool where it won't foil enough. And so I'm going to make a Happy Hanukkah card using the Love and Light Poly-Glaze. So I'm going to cut one of these Happy Hanukkahs out. And then I'm going to use Brilliant Blue for this. I think Brilliant Blue is such a pretty blue, and it's so sparkly. And then I'm going to do a Merry Christmas one. So I'll cut this one out. And I'm going to do this with Radiant Red. So they're both sparkle foils. Now, of course, if you wanted to have more gold or more silver instead, you could substitute with the sparkling silver or glimmering gold. But I want to add a little bit more color to these. So I'm going to start with the Brilliant Blue. Here's the Brilliant Blue foil. And I'm going to take a piece here, and I am going to cut it to fit my design. And it just has to cover the Poly-Glaze. It doesn't have to cover all of the white, but if you feel better about it covering the whole thing, I totally get it. And I am going to put this back right away because, again, there is some embossing powder dust around here, and I want to try to keep everything nice and safe. Okay, let me put this aside for a second and let me find my carrier sheet. I had it here a second ago. Here it is. And my Swiffer, the other half of that Swiffer duster. I've been using the same Swiffer duster forever. I'm going to start by taking the duster and I'm going to dust over the Merry Christmas greeting. I'm sorry, I'm going to do the Hanukkah. Dust over the Happy Hanukkah greeting. And then I'm going to dust over the back of this Brilliant Blue to make sure there isn't any dust between them. Because dust is going to prevent the foil from adhering. So if you have little spots, you may find that it's just because you have a dusty environment. And that's not uncommon because we use so many different kinds of powders and different things in our crafting. And then I'm going to send that through the machine.
Is it like 100 degrees in here?
It does feel a little warm in here, yeah.
This embossing powder is going to just do it on its own.
Well, we have embossing going. We have the fuse all heated up. There's a lot of hot machines on around here, too. All right, so I'm going to get a piece of the Radiant Red, and I'm going to cut this just a little bit bigger than the Merry Christmas. And I could use the whole thing just the way it is, but honestly, this little bit here definitely could be used for something else. I don't throw anything away when it comes to foil. I keep every little bit. And I've got another little piece in here that got away from me, so I will get that. I mean, I know that doesn't seem like much to save, but think about it. I mean, look at these little greetings here, like to you and yours. That'll fit right over there. That's the perfect size for that. And Happy New Year, it fits right over that. So don't throw anything away. Keep it all. You'll use it. I promise. You will use it. We can also keep the negatives and use them with our plain white Poly-Glaze to create the opposite, where the gold or the blue or the red is around the outside and then the greeting is in white. But let's see how this looks. Okay, so we'll peel this back. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. Happy Hanukkah in that gorgeous blue. And that's going to look so pretty with that silver in there, and then the blue denim, and then the Happy Hanukkah. Okay, so I'll put that aside. Now we're going to do the same thing for our Christmas greetings. So we've got our Merry Christmas. I'm going to use the Swiffer duster here on the front of that and on the back of this red. And then I'm going to pop that in. And we're going to do the same thing. Always want to make sure you're going in folded side first, and make sure you're guiding the carrier sheet in so that it's straight. Because if it goes on an angle, it can easily crinkle up or get caught up around your rollers, and then you got a big problem. So it's better to try your best to get it straight. There is a reverse button on the back, a jam release button, so you can always push that while you're pulling it out if it does get jammed. And then if it gets all crinkled up, turn your machine all the way up to 5 and send the carrier sheet through a couple of times until everything flattens back out again. So you don't have to throw it away, as long as you can get it out. So I'm going to find the Happy Hanukkah die and the Merry Christmas die, so that we can cut these out once we're done foiling. Okay, so let's cool this a little bit. And actually I can turn this off and get this out of the way so I can bring all my other parts back in. And look at that. Merry Christmas. That is so pretty. That's going to look so pretty on here. And that looks great with the mix of gold. I know the gold's a little hard to see, the gold and silver. It's just because this is such a small, detailed image. But when you get your set and you make this, you're going to be really excited about how it looks. Now again, I'm going to save these pieces because, like I said, you can always get our white Poly-Glaze sheets. Let's pretend this is a white Poly-Glaze sheet. It's not, it's just plain cardstock, but we have plain printed white Poly-Glaze sheets, and you can put these negative pieces over the Poly-Glaze, and the Poly-Glaze will make all of this stick, and then you can cut it out with the die, and you will get that reverse image. So you'll have red around the outside and then white on the inside. Same with the brilliant blue. You will get that same look with the Happy Hanukkah. And so you get 2 for 1. So don't forget to pick up some white Poly-Glaze next time you place an order so that you have some to use all your negative pieces, and that will really stretch your supply. It's very economical. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside and get my die cutting machine. And I'm going to cut these greetings out. So I think I'll do one at a time. I'll start with the Merry Christmas one. And I do just have my plain plate here, not my magnetic plate. So I'm just going to use a little bit of masking magic to hold that down in place. And then I'm going to send that through the machine. If you have your magnetic plate, you don't need to use the tape. But I had pulled out a brand new plate for Simon Hurley when he was a guest. And so I've just been using this one. Plus I had another video that I did that I really needed to make sure it was precise. And although I love the magnetic plate, there's just something about taping things down that really makes you feel secure. Okay, and you can see how pretty that Christmas greeting is. So we'll put that aside. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the Hanukkah greeting. Love this brilliant blue. I think it's really one of my favorite foils. It's just fun for so many things. And it's got like a hint of turquoise in it when you like turn it. So, you know, it's got a lot of different blue tones in there. Let's do one more little piece down here. Okay. We'll cut that out. Again, this one is so pretty too. We want to pop out the little bits that are on the inside here. There we go. Happy Hanukkah. So for those of you that have friends that celebrate Hanukkah, it's a great set to have. If you make cards for craft fairs, it's certainly a great set to have. And I know some people sell their cards in other ways, like on Etsy and stuff like that. And I think really good Hanukkah cards, really pretty, elegant ones, do really well at those types of events. Plus, like I said, you can just sub out different elements to drop into that, onto those chains, and you've got really, really pretty looking design. Okay, for other things like Christmas or just any time of the year. Birthdays. You can use flowers, leaves, snowflakes, and just make a simple winter card. Okay, so I'm going to pop this panel onto the black layer. And you can tell I used a little extra tape because sometimes when you emboss it does warp a little bit. And then this is going to go onto our red card base. Okay. Then we're going to do the same thing with the blue version. We're going to layer these two panels together. I know a lot of people saw this blue card on release party night, and people wanted to see how I made it. So I'm glad to be able to show that to you today. But I think it's fun when you can take a stamp and you can modify it a little bit with some masking and really stretch the supplies, get so much more out of it. Because it's beautiful just the way it is, but it's certainly great when you can use it for other things. Okay, so now we've got our two cards here, and then I'm going to add some foam squares onto the back of the greetings to pop up these greetings. So I'm going to just cut them a little bit smaller, and I'm going to do, I know it's going to cover this star, but I'm going to put the Merry Christmas down here. It's okay if it covers. I mean, some of you might prefer it over here where it doesn't cover, and we could do that too for this one. We could do that. This way it doesn't cover it as much. And then for the Happy Hanukkah, we could put that one over here to kind of take up this little empty space. So why don't we do that? All right. And then I'm going to blinger for a while. So Tom, I hope you have a word of the day today, because I'm going to be blingering a little bit, and it's always fun when you have some fun things to chime in.
Yes, I will word o' the day while you blinger.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. So let's put our Merry Christmas greeting down first. And you know, even just doing a little gift card holder with this design, I mean, it's so pretty. It's just so delicate. So you could have a really nice little gift card holder and then have your gift card inside. So there we go. We'll put that one there. Okay, that's such a nice, simple design, isn't it? And having the foil and the embossing powder, I just think it's just a wow to have both. I don't think the camera does these justice either, because these are so sparkly with the embossing powder, but it's always hard to pick up certain things on the camera. So I will be taking some high quality photos of these, and I will share them in the group and also on my community tab here on YouTube. So, you know, just give me a little bit to do that after the video is done, and I will add those so that you guys can see everything a little bit more clearly. Shine is really hard to capture, though, in pictures. I gotta tell you, any of my crafty friends out there who've tried to take pictures of their cards, their foiled cards or their embossed cards, will tell you that it is hard to capture the shine. However, I do want you to see it here because you can see the silver shining, but it's more of a muted shine, and then that foil shine. Same here on this one, the gold, muted gold at the top. It's like a brushed gold, and then that sparkly shine from the Merry Christmas. Now what I'm going to do for embellishments is I'm going to use both metallic pearls and I'm going to use some disco ball sequins. And first I'm going to do a gold metallic pearl on each of these to make them look like they're pinned onto the wall. And I'll do a silver one on all of these. So I'm going to pull out a bunch of these so I can try to find as many of the small ones as I can. So while I'm doing this, Tom, I think it's a great time for a word of the day.
Okay.
What do you think?
All right. Word of the day time. We need to do a song. Word of the day. All right, maybe not. Okay, so if Gina K were to open a school for color blending,
Oh, no.
a school for color blending would be what do you think? University. A university.
That's great. I love it. That's a very good word of the day. I like that.
University.
University.
Word of the day, back to the dead space.
All right, so I'm finding as many of these small silver ones as I can, and you can see now we're even adding more sparkly texture in here because this is more of a metallic shine, unlike the muted shine, the brushed silver shine of the beads, and not like the glittery shine of the foil. So, you know, you've got another shiny texture in here, which is really fun.
I know it's almost too much excitement to take.
In the one card?
No, in the word of the day.
In the word. I can see them now. Some will be moaning and some will be saying, bravo, Tom. All right, so there are the little dots on top of those. Now let's do the little dots on top of these in gold. And then we'll add a bunch of little sequins too. So that'll even bring in another shine. There's so much shine on this card. I love it. I love all the potential here. So I gotta spill more out. I gotta find the tinies. They're always like laying at the bottom. It's all right. Whatever it takes to find them. We will seek them out and we will add them. And I am due for some more of these. I think we're getting low on these too. I need to order more. All right, maybe we'll look into just doing bags of the tiny ones too, because I know that I use the tiny ones a lot. I'm sure you guys do too. I do like the bigger ones for different things, but it might be nice to have just a set of all the tiny ones, so we can look at that. Okay, so now we've got all the gold in there holding all of that together. Now let me put away this mess, and then we'll add some sequins. So, wow, this is a lot of... I know everybody always laughs like, why do you spill them all out and then pick from the dish? But all the tiny ones fall to the bottom, so I kind of like almost have to. This was kind of dumb, but it's not terrible. It's better than horrible. I got them all stuck to my fingernails and everything else. There's a lot of static in here. That starts to happen here big time in Wisconsin. My hair gets staticky, everything gets staticky. Okay, so we'll pull out a bunch of these little sequins too. And then we're going to do them like all in between. We'll do one here, one here, one up here, one here, one here, here. Just lots of sparkle. And then we'll do a few little ones around the Merry Christmas greeting. Okay, I know that looks like a lot, and it is a lot. We'll give it just a minute to set, and then we'll pick up these tiny ones. We'll just add these little tiny ones. They're the micro disco ball, and these are tough too because they like to turn over, and sometimes it's hard to get them to flip over on their back. Okay. But if you give that glue just a second to set, it gets a little sticky, and then the sequins release a little bit better. Not always great, but a little bit better. And sometimes you get glue on the end of your pick and stick tool, and that will also make them not want to release. So clean that off every once in a while, and that'll help a lot. Okay.
Then it becomes the stick and pick tool.
That's true. I'm mixing sizes here, but I think that's okay to have a couple different sizes. I have some of the really, really tiny ones, and then I have some of the next size up. They're very close in size, so whichever ones you put on are going to look great, but you can see how easy these are releasing now that I've cleaned off the end of the, what'd you call it? The stick and pick tool? Okay. So now I've got all that sparkle and shine in there too. Isn't that fun? It just keeps building with more and more shine. And we'll do the same thing on this one. We'll add some there, maybe one there. I don't know which one is my favorite. Do you guys have a favorite? I mean, I know that those of you that celebrate Hanukkah might like the Hanukkah one better than the Christmas one, but as far as color combinations go, of course I always love red, but it is really fun to see the blues. They're so pretty. Okay, got a lot here, but I have a lot of sequins, and this is a great way to use up a bunch of sequins too. Just taking my time, blingering away here. Sometimes you have to just press them so that they're flat and they're not like leaning on one side or the other. Especially the tiny ones. Here's a bigger one. Well, let's use this bigger one. Put that here. And a tiny one up here. One there. This one's just a little bigger. Put that there. Sometimes it's hard to tell if they're upside down or they're upright. And we'll put one here. That's a lot of glue there. I did a little blob of glue by accident. And we'll put that there. Got another little one right there. I just think, like, for a card like this, you can't have enough bling on it. It's so pretty to have the bling. So look at that, all that pretty bling. So fun. All right. Well, there are the two cards. Let's zoom in just a little bit so you can see them a little bit better. And you can see how easy it is to transform that Love and Light set to make a Christmas card, or use it as it is and make a gorgeous Hanukkah card. One more time for the bling. What do you think here, Tom? Isn't that pretty?
It's pretty spectacular. And you can see it. You can see the gold and the silver.
Yeah, it's nice. Oh, that was so much fun. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you enjoyed this premiere style with Tom and I chatting with you live in the comments. We always like to do that, right, Tom?
We do.
It's always so fun to just say hello to everybody. Now, if you're new to Gina K Designs and you see anything you like here, you can find it on our website at ginakdesigns.com. And if you aren't a member of our Facebook group, we would love to have you over there. You can go to Facebook and search us up. It's called Gina K Designs and Stamp TV Friends. It's a private group, so if you want to show us your Christmas and Hanukkah cards, we would love to see them, but your friends won't be able to see them because the group is private. So nothing that happens in the group goes anywhere outside of the group. And if you liked today's video, and we sure hope that you have, we hope you'll hit the thumbs up button and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss another video. Tom and I will be back on Tuesday night with another Stamp and Chat Live, and we'll be back and we'll draw 2 winners on Tuesday night since we couldn't do it live today. In the meantime, everybody, stay safe and healthy. We love you all so very much, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.